Practicing you move faster, sorry. So we have 2, and then I'm going to use a different grouping symbol like a bracket here, because I'm going to say 2 times 10, and I'm going to use parentheses instead of the dot. 6. Which will still give me the sum of, or I'm sorry, the product of 120. So let's go ahead and close that up. Distributive property. I think distributive property is probably the only one that everybody remembered. And so the key term here would be distribute. And you guys told me you can distribute out papers, and then you guys told me, ooh, we could distribute out food. And I love that idea, probably because I was just hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an awful looking pizza with little toppings here and there. There we go. And you said distribute means to give, so people are happy. Or giving out pizza. Okay, so let's go ahead and write out the distributive property here. And this one I'm going to write a little bit bigger and towards the center. So I'm going to have a giant A. And distribution, you guys were telling me it's really important that you use, or that you're looking for, parentheses. Okay, so A, and then parentheses, B plus C. Now with this, whenever you distribute, that means, yes, you multiply, but it must be to all the terms. So I'm going to write that down here. To all terms. I'm going to put here a little plus sign and a plus sign, parentheses. And you're going to take this 2 and distribute it. Now, terms, remember, they are separated using operations, okay? Not multiplication, as we proved up here. Okay, so that would be equivalent to A times B, which I don't have to put the dot, I'm lazy, plus A times C. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and try that out. I'm going to distribute 3 into a binomial 15x plus 4. Okay. So if I were to distribute to the first term, that would give me, I'm going to actually write out that step, 3 times 15x, and then plus, distribute again, to 3 times 4. Okay, that's fairly simple. So that should give me 3 times 15. Well, I know 2 times 15, that's 30. Add another 15, that's 45. X plus 12. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and move on. Identity property. And that one, we said our keyword was ID. All right. Yep. That's my ID. So let's go ahead and do it upon addition. Now this one is very simple. I really like this one. Straight, clear, and concise. It says A, it's in purple if you can't tell, plus 0 is equal, well, it gives me the exact same thing. That's why I use my identity. All right. So let's do an example. Let's say 19 plus 0 is going to give me, well, the exact same thing. Doesn't change who I am. It leaves me as 19. Okay, let's go ahead and do identity property on multiplication. Sorry. With that one, I'm going to say B times, now, what could I possibly multiply this to be able to get the exact same thing out? B. It would be 1. Let's prove it. How about 7? What is 7 times 1? That gives me 7. Okay. Identity property is really simple. Now, one thing to note is that 1 can be represented in several different ways, and that's where it might not seem like it's the identity property. Like, let's say that I had 7 times, let's say 6 over 6. Now remember, 6 divided by 6, well, that actually reduces to 1, and that's going to be a term I need you to know. We'll be using that later. So that's equal to, again, 7. Okay. Let's move on to additive inverse. Additive inverse, honestly, what I want you to know here is the add, but our key word here, it's the whole thing, inverse. What I need you to know about inverse is, well, that means opposite. That's a very important thing to know about inverse. Inverse means opposite. Let's go ahead and flip that bad boy on open. And, oh, this one's actually quite easy. So I'm going to use A. Now, notice my A is positive. So I am going to add A's inverse. Now in math, I'm going to be very specific about my colors. I'm going to use the opposite color. In math, opposite always means that little symbol there, minus. So I'm going to take my positive A, I'm going to add its inverse, which is negative A. Now, what happens whenever I take A plus negative A? Well, it eliminates. It gives me 0. So your key word here is if you're new to my class, you're not allowed to say the C word. No, it does not cancel. It does not cross out. It eliminates. Okay, just like over here, that reduces to 1. It's not crossing out. It reduces to 1. It's very important to know the difference. So let's use the example of 5 plus, what is 5's inverse? Negative 5. And what happens there? It eliminates, and you have 0.